Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Untitled Gamescast, is what we're going for. I'm, of course, your host, UF Gizmo, joined this week by not PlayStations anymore, but Luna's own Massive Dance Chris McGelly.
Hello, everyone.
And, of course, the Switch owning, wheeling dealing, Mario Kart stealing man himself, Mr. CW Lanky.
Hell yeah. How you doing?
How are we doing, guys? So it's another week. This time I'm not full of death and COVID. I've been clean shaven. I'm at a chair. Hopefully I'll have more energy than last week.
You're back in the game,
I'm
David.
back, baby. So we've got a controversial topic this week, as you can probably tell from the title of this episode. But before we get into that, let's do the rigmarole. Craigo, what have you bought? What have you played? What have you been doing this week?
So on the Xbox side of things, the only thing I've really played is on literally the last day it was available, I thought I'd better download the Cyberpunk trial, the 5 hour one. And I managed to pretty much use the entire 5 hours in that day, so I did well there. It does hilariously. It doesn't warn you; it just boots you out when you get to the 5 hours.
That's enough.
Yeah. But luckily, thanks to Quick Resume, it obviously when I did actually end up getting the game, loaded it back up, it just carried on.
That's mad.
It just carried on. I know, because I was thinking, I don't know when I last saved it. I could be a bit screwed. But yeah, I downloaded that. I started off as a nomad kind of class. I don't know if it's just because I'm assuming they will have different openings. But I actually thought the first hour was not that impressive. I thought it was quite kind of linear, quite hand-holdy. I wasn't exactly blown away by the first hour, but there's a moment, I don't know if it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, where you're in Night City, you've been driving around going to, the like A to B places you have to get, and you finally just kind of get out and you realize that you're just kind of in the open world and you start walking around Night City, and it is spectacular. It's so dense for like a video game world. Oh, we've lost Chris. He's back again. That it doesn't even feel like you're playing a video game. It's really bizarre how just good and well made Night City is. I did have a few bugs in the first hour. In the tutorial, the test dummy was doing the T pose for a bit, I think my the character that Jackie you kind of start off with was glitching through some things as well in the first hour. But after that first hour, I didn't really haven't had any problems at all, and any issues. I'm sure there will be more because the game's renowned for that sort of thing. But yeah, I haven't actually played. I've actually not bought the game. I managed to get it for $17.99, which isn't too bad. Obviously, you get smart delivery, so I have to pay for the upgrade, so that's not too bad at all. I haven't gone back and played any more yet, other than just kind of because I was curious to see if the quick resume would work, and it does. So that was handy. I just did pop the little save in after that just to make sure, and then
save.
Yeah, and then put it back down again. But I really enjoyed the first 5 hours of the trial. The voice acting in the game is so good, and the character kind of animations and the character, they look so real. It's ridiculous. And the fact that the whole thing is done in like first person, even cutscenes are kind of like you stay in first person. You can look around, but you're obviously like kind of stuck in one place, and like just being stuck in one place and just like looking at the characters' faces as they're talking, it looks so good and so immersive. So I've done a ridiculously good job at that. I'm playing it in the frame mode basically. I didn't even bother really trying the ray tracing mode because I did not fancy that 30 FPS.
Literally never.
No. And it does look very pretty even in the performance mode, so that's fine. So I started that. I've kind of left it where it was because I'm still playing Triangle Strategy, and my brain can only have one of these like massive RPGs going at one time. So I was like, I'm going to finish Triangle Strategy before I carry on that. And I've nearly finished Triangle Strategy. I'm not quite there. I think I'm about 41 hours in. I think I might be up to the last battle now, I reckon. So I've probably made the last decision that you have to make. So I'm very nearly there. I think I've got one more of the mock battles to do, I think I've done all the character stories that I can do at this point. So probably by next week I should definitely have that finished. I finally got the bit that I wanted last week, where your kind of team votes against you and makes you do something that you maybe didn't want to do, which I was really hoping happened. Otherwise, the whole system's kind of pointless. And the last couple of choices I found really difficult. I was really like umming and ahhing over like which way I wanted to go, which is always good. I hate it when games just give you clear cut choices that you're never going to do. So yeah, I've been carrying on with that. I found actually, I think last week I was saying that the normal difficulty kind of tripped me up for a bit. But I've found, other than that one battle that I put down to easy, I don't think I've lost a battle since then. So I think it's very much a case that there was a few things that I just wasn't doing in terms of mechanics and leveling characters up that I just wasn't using. So if you do use all the tools available to you, even for someone like me that's not a big strategy guy, can kind of sail through it fairly comfortably. Although I was watching someone play it on hard on Twitch the other day, and that looked bloody difficult. So I'm sure if you really wanted a challenge, you could really punch your head against a wall doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Obviously, a little bit of Mario Kart. I haven't done the new courses yet, but I will do eventually. But yeah, that's it. Two big RPGs basically for me.
It's a nice quick week for Craig.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do me before we get too deep into Pengy, because obviously Pengy's the main topic of the show. So I'd go to start with Mario Kart. I played the first cup once. I think I got third because bullshit Mario Kart as per usual, and then I just haven't touched it since. I'll go deep into that, maybe even tonight. The levels that I played were fun. The tour ones were actually pretty good, and it's nice to see the Coconut Wall from the Wii, which is one of the better tracks. This is just basically a new game. I like that the menu just drops it into basically a new game. It's really amusing for me that it does that. As for other games, I've been very scattergun this week. Very, very scattergun, which is the term I use when I just can't decide what I want to play. So I played like an hour of Nickelodeon kart races the other day on my Xbox. Got some achievements. I've had that in my account for 2 years apparently. So I got
nice.
My first achievement was May 2020. So I was like, oh well, might as well play some more. It's a terrible game. They don't even have voice acting for the characters. You just got SpongeBob quietly driving around.
I think I remember that scoring really badly when it came out.
It's not good. But I played it. I was bored. I played it for an hour. Just sat there. You know what it's like. For the main game I've been playing Mad Max, which is of course on my backlog list for this year. Phenomenal game so far. I'm about 3 hours in. Obviously, I'm playing this on Series S, which means it gets FPS boost, knocking up to 60 frames a second. It's got auto HDR, which gives it HDR, and it looks like, if you told me it came out this year, I'd be like, yeah, like it looks good. It runs fantastically. The driving's unreal for like just like a secondary part of the game. Like it's ridiculous.
I'm surprised that got FPS boost being a licensed title.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, most games seem to have the FPS boost. Like that has it. I think the Mortal games have it as well. So I don't know whether Warner Brothers are just happy with them to use it.
It might be WB. So.
But yeah, like it's really good. Like I haven't played that game before. I know Craig tells me all the time it's unreal. It's like almost his version of Sleeping Dogs in terms of like the amount of times it's been recommended to me by Craig. But
yeah, it's one of the bigger like underrated games from last year. Definitely.
Yeah, like I think it came out around MGS, didn't it? I think that's what
it came out the same day as Phantom Pain.
Yeah, so
yeah.
But yeah, really enjoying that. Like super enjoying that. Really impressed by it. And the only other thing I've been playing, I got my PS3 out the other day, just for no reason. You know, it happens. I was tidying up and packing away still. I played some Sly Raccoon, which is a great game. Which is a PS2 platformer, Craig. Which I don't know if you remember Sly Raccoon.
Oh God, no.
You're a raccoon, and you're a thief. It's very good. It's from Sucker Punch, who did Infamous and Ghost of Tsushima. It's a great game. Like it's a really good game. It's pretty easy platinum as well, to be honest with you. I think it's like an 8-hour platinum. So I might platinum that, finish it. I've done it on Vita. Might as well do it on PS3 and then we go again. But yeah, that's probably, I'd say tonight I've got a nice big window of a good 4 hours of gaming to do. Probably spend 2 hours deciding what to play, because that's my life, isn't it? But yeah.
I thought you also play some more Dirt.
Oh, I played some Dirt 5 on Stadia, because I was trying Stadia out on my Mac, and it runs really well actually, which is quite impressive. I played some Dirt 3 then on my Xbox, like no reason. I loaded up and I was like, I haven't got my save. I'm not doing this again. Like I was like, oh, I could do some of these achievements, and I was like, oh no, I'm not replaying 25 hours of a 20-year-old racing game just for the sake of it. I think I looked at Sebastian Loeb Rally and I was like, no, not again, never again. But yeah, I've got so many. I'm one of those people, and Chris is going to probably talk about this when we get to him. Like I'm paralyzed by how many games I own. Like paralyzed. Like even digitally, I probably own 400, 500 games on like the systems that I still have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't include the PS4, the PS5 or anything. Like, it's just what I still have. I probably have 500 digital games. And it is just a absolute paralysis.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like on, I've got like games like listed on like the backlog website, and I have got like the PSN one up to date, which is like 400 something. Obviously, a lot of them is PlayStation Plus games. But like I've never like updated the Xbox one, because the Xbox one is like, is this a gold game? Is it a pass game? Is it a game share game? Is it one I own? Like I don't know what I'm not sure what it is. So I've never added them, but I can't imagine
it's
like
a ludicrous
there's a ridiculous amount of them as well.
Like I could unsubscribe from Game Pass comfortably and not buy a game. And not be like, I've got nothing to play for the next fucking 10 years. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous how many games that I own on there. But there you go. That's a topic for another day. So let's get on to Pengy. So obviously, Pengy, before you start, let's not talk about the main topic of the show. So let's just talk about what you've played this week and bought this week. Let's not worry about what you've sold. We'll talk about that later. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I really only played Mario Kart, did both cups as soon as they came out, did them like 1 o'clock in the morning. Nice. in the 150cc. Only got the 1 star because Inkling Boy on that last race on both karts took me out.
Told you, Mario Kart's bullshit. I love it, but it's bullshit.
It's like, oh, third. It's so annoying. Then did a mirror, played a bit online of Mario Kart. That's what I was actually playing before the cast. Yeah, so Mario Kart is still good, and obviously the new tracks, like I've never played Tour, so they are completely new to me. So
how does it do the online with the new tracks? Are they just
they're just
play them regardless?
They're just mixed in.
Yeah, you don't have to buy the DLC to play online. Obviously you don't pick, they're random, so which is really good. It's really good they've done it that way, to be honest.
Yeah,
because they didn't do it that way last time for sure. So
yeah, I think they did separate it on Wii U when they did it that time. Yeah, so it's all mixed in. So if you don't want to buy the expansion, or if you don't have the Switch Online Plus, I don't know what it's called, expansion pack, isn't there? So lots of expansions there. Then I've played some more Voice of Cards, Isle of Forsaken Maiden. I was mixing the two together then. I'm about 7 hours in on chapter 3. It does some Yoko Taro things, especially at the end of chapter 1. It goes, I know who did this game, because this is Ray him, and obviously the music is very good. So that's been my main game. So it's just those two, Mario Kart and Voice of Cards. Nothing on the Xbox. I did have 2 pickups. One I've not played at all, and that is Disco Elysium: The Final Cut on Switch, which is not, it going in. And then I played a bit of this today, about an hour and a half, and that is Dark Souls. Joining in with
anything
Dave
I do, Pengy has to be there. Ready.
No.
How did that hour and a half go, Chris? Talk us through.
Not actually that.
Yeah, but how many times have you seen the first hour of Dark Souls? Because once you know what you're doing, it's not that first hour isn't too bad, is it?
Yeah, it's actually not gone as bad as you would think. But this is the thing. Now everyone knows about Dark Souls. I got to do my roll. I got to do my parries. I got to sort of like take my time. You just can't rush into like, oh look, there's 5 dudes. You just can't rush in and like take them out. You got to be slightly slower paced about it. But yeah, what I've played so far, yeah, fine. So I will be continuing on with Dark Souls.
When's the first proper boss? Because I feel like that could be
It's about 2 or 3 hours in.
Yeah, I've done the tutorial boss, and I guess it's some sort of mini boss because he is named, but he's quite easy.
Yeah, it's
He
like
was
a little
like some
Taurus demon dude, isn't he?
yeah, that was and then
So
I'm heading towards a dragon. So
yeah, that's the fun
Are
bit.
you have you cheesed the absolute cheese out of this, or are you?
no, I just just taking my time, plodding along.
I mean, have you gone for like the cheesiest build you could? Have you?
I have gone for Pyromancer, so
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't do any research. I'm just a
yeah,
warrior. So I was like, sword
yeah.
and shield, that'll do.
Mm.
But so I actually do have a Dark Souls. I forgot I have played Dark Souls this week. So I was playing it on Switch, and I just could not get on with how badly it ran on when it's docked. So I was like, oh, okay, that's annoying. And I was like, I think I have it on 360 as a gold game. So I was like, I wonder if it runs better. I wonder if the 360 version runs better on Series S, and it does. So I'm now playing it on Xbox, and I'm just going to sell the Switch version because it just runs worse. Obviously, the remastered Xbox version would be better, but the 360 version I think is 30 frames, but at least it's solid 30 frames. So it's but yeah, that was I completely forgot. I literally played like 2 hours of that myself, like a couple of days
Yeah,
ago.
and thankfully, because I did mention it when like you picked it up, that I was gonna get it, but it was like 35 quid, and CX managed to get it for 25, so
Yeah, I think I
a
paid
little
like
bit cheaper.
16, 17, didn't I? So like,
Yeah,
I'll get that back
but it
comfortably.
always seems, if you look on eBay, it always seems to go around like the 30 mark, and not often, so
Yeah.
not too bad of
I have
price.
done quite a lot of eBay, looking at eBay stuff this week, so I'm looking forward to talking about that in a minute. But
Yeah.
so the reason that Chris section is unusually short for our friend Chris is that Chris did lots of trading in this week. So we're gonna get to the topic of the show. Tots. Why have we sold all our PlayStation consoles? So this is the clickbait I've gone for. So for the backstory here, we'll start with Craig first. So Craig has had a PlayStation 4. It sat fully dusted for about 18 months. He got rid of it. Doesn't miss it at all.
It had my PlayStation had a like 6 months of glory, where I basically played all the big games, and then Game Pass existed, and
That was that. She could offer you nothing any longer. And obviously, I a couple weeks ago sold my PS5 for similar reasons as I'm sure Chris is going to talk about. I just felt like, it just didn't have the games that I wanted on it for the money that I have at the moment, and for me, the biggest thing is the space, because obviously my living situation has changed quite dramatically since just before Christmas. So I don't have room for 4 consoles to be set up, let alone one of them to be massive. So I kind of cashed out on it while I could. I sold it to a friend, sold all my games. Like, I had a huge stack of PS4 games and PS5 games, got rid of everything. I have about, I'm not even joking, I think I have about 6 physical Switch games, and that's it. I don't have any of like up-to-date physical games consoles anymore. So I just felt that I was thinking, like, obviously I still think PlayStation make good games, but we'll talk about it in a minute. So Chris, you've sold your PlayStation 5.
Yes.
Why have you done that?
Really, hadn't been playing it, and I've been playing a lot of Switch this year, as you obviously done on the podcast, and I've been buying games on Switch. Obviously, Dark Souls is that's a multi-format game, but you take this Friday, you got Kirby and Rune Factory coming out, both Switch exclusives. I'll be playing them, and really, like you said, the PlayStation games are great, but you can only play so much. Like, I've just downloaded Tunic on Xbox because it comes to Game Pass. It looks really good. It's reviewed very well, but I have not played it. I've barely played anything even on Xbox this year. So it comes down to, like, there's only so much time. There's only so much you can play, and a lot of that at the moment is like exclusive to Switch. Obviously, we had Pokemon Legends, not that long ago. Triangle Strategy, coming up with Kirby. Then it's not much in April, but then we get to like June, and there's like Mario Strikers and Free Hopes and all that good stuff. So I'll be playing them. You can just talk about the cost of the games as well. I think Horizon most probably would be worth 70 quid on the PS5. But you go, well, for that 70 quid, I could buy almost 2 Switch games like to Nintendo, especially if you use that voucher on digitally. It's £84, so it's 14. Obviously, it's £14 more. If you're looking at 42 quid, you get Pokemon and Mario Strikers for 42 quid. That's a better value. Maybe like 2 or 3 years time when the library is grown on the PS5. Obviously, studios only can pump out so much. We haven't seen that on the Xbox side. Like there's not been any games, Xbox Game Studio games this year, for instance. Games take a long time to make. So when we've got God of War, we've got Final Fantasy 16, we've got Ghost of Tsushima 2, and whatever on the console, maybe then it'd be worth it. But at the moment, it's just similar content that's on the PS4. Well, Horizon and God of War, even and GTA 7 are all on the PS4, and then the other stuff that I might have played on it, like I played Life is Strange 2 Colors last year on PS5 and House of Ashes on PS5. I can play them on Xbox. I prefer platinums and trophies over achievements. I prefer the DualSense over Xbox, but it's not it's not like, oh, I have to play, I have to get a trophy, I have to have a DualSense. I'm fine getting achievements in whatever is it the Quarry? I think is the new one coming for Super Mario. Yeah, I'm fine getting achievements for it. I'm fine using an Xbox controller, fine using a Switch controller and stuff, so I can play all those third party games on there. And I don't actually really play that much third party. Like I've not bought Elden Ring. I wouldn't have bought Dying Light 2 myself, for instance, that's come out this year. Don't buy like FIFA, COD, or anything like that. Like the third party games I do buy are your weird things like your Life is Strange. It was even on Switch and Stadia. So if I wanted to play it, I can literally play it pretty much anywhere on any system. And then there's a lot of indies, Japanese stuff. And obviously, a lot of indies come to, Game Pass and that, like I said, mentioned Tunic, for instance.
So to give Penkles a chance to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things, I think, with the PlayStation. It's interesting. It's interesting to me because obviously we've had Gran Turismo 7 and Horizon Forbidden West come out this year, and they've both reviewed quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be me talking as a bias as somebody who doesn't. I do pay attention to PlayStation. They've both kind of come and gone.
There's been a lot of controversy about Gran Turismo 7.
They've screwed something up, haven't they? I haven't really looked.
Yeah,
it's like attractions.
So
always online.
Yeah, so what they've done is they've basically made it always online without, I'm guessing, telling people. And when that,
I feel like the PS3 ones were always online.
Yeah, and then
that
when the online went down, no one could play it for like 2 days.
Okay.
And then they've basically, it sounds like they've messed around with the in-game currency and made it much more difficult to earn the in-game currency, which then obviously just pushes people towards the microtransactions of buying the in-game currency. Which, when you think that it's a £70 game, obviously has not gone down well.
Themselves there.
No.
But like that's what I mean. Like, so those two games have come out. They've come and gone in positive ways. Like Horizon. Everyone, and I'm not even joking. I feel bad for Horizon because this happened last time. But like, I literally think that people were excited about it on Twitter for about a week, and then Elden Ring has just murdered it. Murdered it. Like, I have not seen any footage of Horizon Forbidden West in weeks. Like, I really haven't. And it's a game that like I was quite excited for, to be honest with you. And then it's the next part of that conversation, Chris, is that both of those games, like you said, are on PS4. So I was curious. So I was like, well, why don't I just get a PS4 eventually? Let's just see what PS4s are. PS4s are pretty much sold out everywhere, which is really funny. You cannot get a PS4 at the moment. Brand new.
Yeah, they're like $350 or something new on Amazon when they come out.
Yeah, I think the RRP is it's $249 or $299. I saw on Game Curries and Argos. Like, I was just having a quick look. That's curiosity.
Insane, because when I bought my PS4 Slim, which must have been 2018, 2019, I swear I paid like £225 or something like that for it. It was really cheap.
$249.99 for my terabyte PS4 in 2015. But you just can't get them. So if you can get them pre-owned, I think a pre-owned Slim, which is the one you had, Craig, is about 180, 170. when I looked on those sites, because that was my curiosity. Because my thought was, when me and Chris were obviously talking about this, was like, well, if you want to play PlayStation, I think you should just buy a PS4 Slim, and then you kind of get best of both worlds, right? And like if I was going to get back into PlayStation, I would just buy a cheap Slim, and that would be me. I would just play whatever games I have digitally or whatever. Like my backlog is still pretty big on PlayStation. Like realistically, I'm not going to run out of games anytime soon for a need to do that. But it's like, like the PS5 is such an expensive commodity that people seem to want. It's like, it is kind of mad to think that it's like, why keep it? Like, what does the PS5 really do that it can't be done? Especially, I guess we're privileged because we all own other consoles. So
this is the thing. I know, obviously, a lot of people, like, for internet friends that, gone for, PS5s over Xbox, and they're all playing Elden Ring. And obviously, if I use Elden Ring as an example, I can play it on that Xbox. Okay, it's got the it's got yeah, but it's got the multiplayer. I guess would be the thing on that. But that's the example. We're playing exactly the same game. It reminds me, similar to the start of the PS4 and Xbox One gen. Like I bought both, like at launch, because everyone was like, "Oh, the Xbox One's going to be shit." And I thought, no, I'm going to buy it myself and see. And it was shit, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, so, the Xbox One launched, though. The launch titles of the Xbox One were really good.
Yeah, well, I thought it was shit. And I was like, right. And everyone I knew also had the PS4. And I was like, had my two consoles. And then I can't even remember what games were. Let's use Phantom Pain, because that was quite an early game. It's even on 360 and PS3. Like Phantom Pain came out, just bought it on the PS4, and like the Xbox One was just sitting there until the exclusive came. Well, here's Titanfall. Now we wait and wait and wait. Here's Gears 4. Wait and wait and wait. Here's whatever, and it feels a bit like that. Is like, okay, we're playing all the multiplayer format games on Xbox this time. Like, here's your exclusive. Now you got to wait and wait and wait for
that. And I think even more for that is Game Pass. So like I don't agree with you that the Xbox One was shit, but I can see what you mean. Like, exclusives weren't the same. Like, because you
didn't have Game Pass back then either.
Yeah, I think the Xbox was fine. It just didn't. The exclusives weren't what people wanted compared to PlayStation. I think it's fair. I mean, I'd take Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break over The Last of Us remastered any day. But anyway, it's one of those where it's like Game Pass has changed that so much, and like, so I've got a Series S. To buy a Series S is £250. To get Game Pass, $10.99, right, a month. So that's before you even start. That's 6 months of Game Pass for the price of Gran Turismo 7 on the digital PS5, and then you'll have £100 change. So it's like, when you start talking in those sense, the average gamer, like, I can see why you would be like, well, they're kind of giving me everything on Game Pass that I want anyway. Then if I've got a spare bit of money, I'll buy Elden Ring, and I'll buy, I don't know, I'll buy Gran Turismo, I'll buy Grand Theft Auto, I'll buy whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that has changed it slightly, but like, obviously gaming's still really strong because both consoles are doing really well, which is good. Like, I don't think the PlayStation 5 is a bad console. I'll say that now. Like, I don't think the PS5 is bad, and I don't think the games on the PS5 are bad. I just think the value of the PS5 is just nowhere near Xbox. And if you've got both and you want to save some space or some money, people want to buy the PlayStation, so you can sell the PlayStation. Like, you can wait. There's other ways now to play these games. Like, it's funny. It's a weird one. I think if I had just a PlayStation 5, I would be happy with it. Like, there's good games on it. But when you're the privileged gamers, which are, I think, a lot of people, to be honest with you, like, and you have access to both, the PS5 just doesn't give you that value. Like, if we had good jobs, like if we were all on 35-40 grand a year and you could afford to have just a console lying there for no reason in a nice flat, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's situational for sure. But personally, like, again, if I wanted a PS5, it'd have to be half the size to start with. It's too big, and it would probably have to be £250. Like,
do you think that the value that you talk about with the games, especially the PlayStation side of thing, is something that isn't really brought up and talked about enough? So I know that Jez Corden made quite an innocent tweet about that, and was instantly attacked and piled on for suggesting that. But it
So
does seem to be it's something that comes up a hell of a lot.
it's tough because I think £70 in the grand scheme of things. First of all, if you bring that up on Twitter, someone, and it will be Chris, like 6 months ago, will be like, you can get it on Shop2 for £60. That's not the argument I think people have. I think if you just buy one game every couple of months, then no, the £70 is fine. But it's when you can't deny the value. Like, you can't deny the value of Game Pass, and that's the thing. Like, because one has done one and the other is not doing that, that's the issue. Like, you can still buy games for £70 on Xbox. But you know what I mean? Like, so it's like the easiest way to describe this, and this is a way to describe it. But so if you compare Luna to Stadia, so Stadia you can only buy games, right? And Luna is just Game Pass. It would be better if both services did both. You see what I'm saying? So like if PlayStation had a version of Game Pass, like, or a discounted for being Plus or something to that extent, then I think the price thing would go away because it wouldn't matter because there's two options. I think the option of only having £70 is what people are really annoyed about. And I think, it's really hard to take, because I think that, like Gran Turismo, when it's working, probably is worth £70. Like, Horizon probably is worth £70, but then Cyberpunk is also probably worth £70. Elden Ring is probably worth, £70 is nothing if in the grand scheme of entertainment, in the grand scheme of anything, how much these games cost to make and all that kind of shenanigans. Like, £70 really isn't that bad for what you get, in my opinion. You think, go to a cinema, what's a cinema ticket now? Tenner? Like, that's an hour and a half. Like, so like I get it, but yeah, like I think the argument is, and my argument, which I would agree with Jez, is that because there isn't a secondary option on PlayStation, that is the problem. It's not necessarily the actual cost, because it's gone up by a tenner. In like, games were £60 when we were kids. Like, with inflation, games should be like £100. You know what I mean? But it's like, because that is the only way. Like, you can only buy Horizon from them at that cost. And you're like, yeah, but on this other thing, I can play Death's Door and Tunic and Horizon. With Horizon's is the example we always use, because they did that ultimate upgrade bundle.
Yeah.
So, well, you could just get it monthly, and then you can get all the extra stuff as well for like 30. Or if you want, you can buy it all for 80. And it's like, you've given me the option. Like, if you're like, I don't want a subscription, you could just buy Horizon at the same price as Gran Turismo. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, so you can't really shoot PlayStation for doing it if Xbox are also doing it, but it's because Xbox gives you the option, if that makes sense. If that makes sense, in my mind, that's what I think anyway.
Do we have any hope that, obviously you're saying compare it to the value of Game Pass, do you have any hope that Spartacus for PlayStation might bridge that gap?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it will. But it won't be Game Pass. It will be, you will get God of War 3 months after it comes out. But
you reckon that fast?
I don't think you will get.
I'm being hopeful.
I don't think you get them at all. I think people are looking at it completely wrong, and even if you go by all the leaks and rumors, it sounds nothing really like Game Pass. No. It sounds way more like Nintendo's option of, here's your NES, SNES, 64 games and stuff. Okay, PlayStation can go, here's 500 games, but it'd be PS1, PS2, PS3, like PS4 games. So the value of, you've paid £10, you've got 500 games, is great, and you will have great things on there. Because imagine if it had Metal Gear Solid from PS1, it had, Final Fantasy 10 from PS2, Last of Us from PS3, God of War from PS4. You're looking at top tier quality titles, but they're not brand new titles. I think that's going to be different. Same with Nintendo. Nintendo's obviously Nintendo. The expansion have been adding DLC,
and
obviously Mario Kart and Animal Crossing.
So cheap. Like, I don't understand this narrative that Nintendo's involved in anyway, because even with the expansion, you're paying £35 a year, which is a joke for what you get.
Yeah.
Like, how people don't see that
maybe
value,
see some sort of bonus with Spartacus or something. Like, oh, you've got it. Here's your 500 legacy titles, and you've also got, I don't know, some sort of boost in Last of Us Factions 2 or something, or
It should
I
really
don't
be
know.
Plus, shouldn't it? That's really what it should be. They should just combine Plus and Now. I don't
Yeah,
know why they haven't, because
I think
Now,
that's what it's going to be.
yeah, because Now has a lot of good content. It's
Mm,
just you can't download a lot of it because it's PS3. Like
yeah.
the PS4 stuff on there's good enough. The indie stuff on there's pretty good. Like they put obviously had Shadow Warriors just launched into it. Like there's some good
Yeah, that
stuff on
actually
there.
did launch into it. I think you might get an odd title launching it like that,
It's
but
yeah, but
but
that's what they need to do. I think they need to combine. If they can't offer their first party games new, or 6 months down the line, it just needs to make Plus worth it more, because Plus is quite expensive for what it is.
mm,
It's weirdly fallen off as well. I remember like years ago, Plus was always amazing. Like every month, like, even like for me, somebody who didn't have a PlayStation back then, but the Plus games always seemed to be great. I remember when I had a PlayStation, I think Ratchet and Clank was Plus. I think Bloodborne. I think I downloaded quite a few like really good Plus games. Whereas now it's kind of seems to really kind of dropped off and
It's
not quite the
weird.
value it was.
It's really strange. Like some months are really good, and then some months, like this month, it's Ghost Runner for PS5. I'm trying to think now. It's Ark Survival Evolved
mm,
and something else that wasn't that impressive. But
Yeah,
then
so
you've
that wouldn't be anywhere near like enough to get me
no,
excited.
but then they'll have
no,
months where they'll have when the PS5 launched, they had Destruction All Stars, Wreckfest, Abe's Odyssey, Soulstorm, like good newish games.
mm,
But you're right. It's not consistent enough, and it's also not value. I think it's too expensive
mm,
compared to Game Pass. Like, because people compare it to Gold, but Gold, I don't even know why Gold is still a thing. To be
no,
honest,
makes
like
no
I don't know why
sense.
it's a thing. It's like who's getting Gold on its own and is not paying £3 more to get Game Pass, like whatever. And I think Stadia Pro is okay. Again, Stadia Pro, I think it's too expensive because of the platform, but the content is a lot better than most. Like I know
Mm,
Craig doesn't follow Stadia, but like Stadia Pro is basically Gold, but it offers like 7 or 8 games, and
yeah,
they're
plus
good games
obviously
usually. Like
also
obviously
with the
Gellowfall
Stadia
and all the
Pros,
stuff
the
like that.
old games are still there.
Yeah,
So
it's a cycling list.
yeah, so it's
Yeah,
like 50 games. If you were to sign up to Stadia right now, you'd get like 52 games, and it's
yeah,
like that's quite a lot of content for your 8.99 sort of thing. And if you've claimed them and then they do leave, you still got them like in Golden Plus sort of thing. So yeah, that's quite good. But I think with how Plus has worked, you do get the few new titles, and you get you know you
because of
mentioned
discounts and stuff.
the Warrior game. That's what Spartacus would do. You would get like the odd few indies and stuff like that, but I wouldn't expect like we just got Tunic on Xbox. I wouldn't expect Stray, for instance, go into Spartacus. But like that's too big.
That's really what it needs, isn't it? Because I
Yeah,
think
it
the
needs
Xbox
that
stuff
sort
is
of
the indie
stuff.
stuff that really is the key to it. Because
Mm,
obviously people look at Halo and people look at Forza, but you only get those twice a year. But you
hmm
look at the amount of big, like even from games that we've all, well, I say you guys have played recently. You've got Nobody Saves the World was on Game Pass. Death's Door has gone into Game Pass pretty quick. Tunic's launched into Game Pass. Like that's 3 similar games that have all
mm,
been loved this year that have all come out. So like PS Plus, why is there not Kena like launch? Why what I mean? Like stuff like that. Why was
mm.
Chichery or Sifu or something like that? You know what I mean? That would have made the value.
Yeah, that sort of
Um,
stuff is what would help Spartacus, but I
yeah,
don't see a God of War. But why would it? Because the first one sold over
yeah,
20 million now.
yeah.
They're not gonna sort of or sort of give it away. I know they're not gonna give it away because you'd be paying you £10 a month. But if they can sell 20 million at $70, again or
Yeah.
whatever, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I feel like the impact of all this is actually not going to be felt this gen, which is really strange because like this gen is still pretty new. I
Mm,
kind of feel like when we start talking about PS6 and then whatever the new Xbox is going to be, which who knows what Xbox are going to do. Like I think that's when it's going to start getting interesting, because I don't see, like, so for me personally, right, so if we were going to like, right, Dave, in the next 2 years, are you likely to buy a PS5? No. Are you likely to buy a PS4? Probably, because it kind of does everything the PS5 does. Like as long as I could find a quiet one, which was
mm.
my problem with the PS4 anyway. Like the PS4 would basically be my Series S. You know what I mean?
What
Yeah.
what circumstances? What would have to happen for like each of us to actually buy a PS5?
So
Uh,
for me, the PS5 console would have to be smaller, and the console would have to be cheaper. right? That's because my main problem. I've had a PS5 is not the games, because the exclusives are good, but the rest of the games are on Xbox. So it would have to basically be what happened with the last gen. So I had an Xbox One around about launch for about 2-3 years. Then I got the PS4 when it was cheap, and I could get I could get 2 or 3 years worth of cheap games for it. So I could, so in 2 years' time, if I could get Horizon for £25, for example, and God of War for £25, that's basically what I did with PS4, and I think that's pretty much how I would do it with PS5. But the difference is because of Game Pass, and because, again, my life's different. I don't know. Like PS5 could be one of the rare consoles that I don't buy again, which sounds really weird because I know what I'm like, but there's so many other options, like the stuff like the Steam Deck we haven't even talked about, that could fill that gap pretty easily. But how about you, Craig?
For me, the main reason I bought a PS4 last gen, obviously I had an Xbox One from launch. There was a real kind of chasm in the middle of the Xbox One where they just had no exclusives. Or I think there was like a 2-year period where I think all we got was Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2, and maybe Crackdown 3.
Gears 4.
Yeah, and it was a real kind of barren spell. And obviously, at that time, the PlayStations were going for fairly cheap. Like I said, I think it was paid like $225 or something like that. And obviously, PlayStation had been releasing a lot of big games at the time. So it would need something like that to happen again. I just don't see it happening with the amount that Xbox now have.
And also
in
the
terms
thing
of
is,
studios.
it's different now. Like, obviously, you only had an Xbox now, but if there's a lull, I don't know, this summer, June, and that, it's like you have your Switch now. You can like, oh, I'm gonna buy Mario Strikers. And even with Game Pass, you're like, oh, I don't like the look of this month's Game Pass lineups. Like, I don't want a visual novel or something. I'm just trying to think something you definitely wouldn't play. Oh, I don't want a visual novel. That's the big Game Pass game this month. Oh, I'm gonna pick up Mario Strikers, I think.
You're right as well, and because the Switch is so different to like the Xbox and the PlayStation, it's kind of, I can almost see it as a different thing. The fact, I've played most of my Switch so far handheld, so I don't really put it in the same category as Xbox. So you're right, like it's just gonna be. It takes so much. It would take Nintendo and Xbox to really kind of stumble massively and not release anything for a couple of years.
I think you're more likely to buy a supplementary machine for either of those than you are to buy PS5. Like, I think, if they made it easy to make the Steam Deck the Xbox console, like if they was like, hey, this takes 10 seconds to put Windows on it, it takes 10 seconds to install Game Pass, I think that's more likely, like way more likely than you buying a PS5. To be perfectly honest with you, like the option of playing your Xbox in bed is definitely better than anything that PlayStation. I don't think there's a franchise that the PlayStation has that could make you buy a PS5. No. Like, and literally, unless like Xbox just went away, like I just couldn't see it. Like there's no way. Like there was little hope last gen, really, to be honest with you. So now with the Switch, like Chris said, like you've got plenty. Like,
and even with like the Switch, you're saying something like, we always get the rumors of a Switch Pro and stuff like that. Like, oh, it's E3. Oh, look, they've announced the Switch Pro. It's now Dark Souls is actually running okay or something on it now. I'm like,
So what about for you, Chris? Would it just be games or?
It is mainly games. Like, it was pretty big, but I had the room for it. But it is down to games. Originally, before me and Dave was pretty bad because like the first episode we did, Dave was like, "Oh, I'm not going to buy one for 6 months," and it's like 2 episodes later, and like I said, I wasn't going to buy one, and then still there's like 10 sort of like must-have games on it, and then there's like, just look, PS5's available. I can just buy now, like just randomly. There was no rhyme or reason for me to buy a PS5 that day. It was on there.
I completely forgot about that whole stipulation that you had.
And I just pressed the buy button, and there it comes. So that's the thing. I really should have, we should have stuck to what we said, because if I stuck to said, okay, we would have like Horizon 1, okay, we might get God of War this year. Okay, that's like your two. That's your 2, and then I don't know, March next year, Final Fantasy 16, and you're building up a bit of a library on the system. But that's what it would take. Maybe a Slim or whatever a pro or what, sort of thing, a super fancy edition with Final Fantasy 16. But it is mainly about I doubt I'm going to go out and get a bog standard white disc PS5 until this.
Would you buy a PS4?
Possibly. I still got a bunch of PS4 games. I still have like Persona 5,
Four?
Persona 5. Yeah, I was gonna say 4, and then I tried to change it to my Persona 5 Royal, like the Gravity Rushes and stuff. So I still got a little small collection of PS4 games and stuff. But again, I would have to see one sort of like cheap or whatever to pick it up.
Is Ragnarok coming to PS4 as well?
Yes, yes.
And we don't know about Final Fantasy 16 yet, do we?
The only
16
thing
is PS5.
The only thing that isn't
and
on
PC,
PS4
sorry.
is Ratchet. That's the only thing that I'd actually want that is only on PS5.
And I've played I've played that, so
yeah, like if I was gonna so I think I'm probably pretty likely to get a PS4 depending on what I'm doing. Like my life's weird at the minute, so I can't judge anything. To be honest with you, it's kind of why I bought the PS5 as a make myself feel better about my life purchase. But so who knows what's going on with Dave? But I think a PS4 is if they came out with another one that was just like tiny, just digital, like £120, I'd buy it straight away. Like if they literally made the PS TV, but it was PS4. Like if it was like the size of the Series S, all digital, £150 for PS4, I'd buy one. I'd buy it straight away. Like that's one of those like it would fit the way I want a game perfectly. But
And
have they started making them as well? Again,
they've started,
now?
they've put them back in production. They are. I'm not even joking, Craig. They are sold out everywhere. Like you cannot buy PS4s. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I think they're just gonna do the PS2 thing, and I think you'll be able to buy PS4s for another couple of years.
Yeah,
because they realise people are buying them. Like all the games are on them. Like the average person doesn't care, do they? Like if you're like we've got friends that are like if they could get a PS5, they'd get it, but they their friends are still playing FIFA and COD on PS4. They don't care. It looks the same, doesn't it? Really, it runs slightly better. Like that's about it. That's about the only difference, really, to a normal person.
You think the first God of War looked incredible on the PS4?
PS4 just wanted to fucking take off when I tried. That was
you say for the average person, is Ragnarok gonna be that one noticeably better? That's the thing.
I don't know if it will. Like for the unless someone is going I wouldn't consider myself the average gamer because I buy everything. I've still not got a 4K screen. Like my screen's got HDR, but it's not 4K. Like you know what I mean? Like. What use would I get out of PS5? I wouldn't even get that much use out of PS4 Pro, to be honest with you. Like I said, if I get a nice quiet slim for like 150 quid, I'd buy it today. But it's just getting one. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I said I will say this bet right now: Craig is not buying another PlayStation product for as long as he lives, unless Xbox dies.
Yeah, it would take something
for you to buy another PlayStation.
All these like 30 studios you'd have to like whiff non-stop repeatedly. Game Pass would have to like triple in price.
So much content.
Daddy Phil would have to defect
in the next 2 years.
Uncle Larry, I don't know, retires or something.
Where's Inside Xbox? Bring that back. That'd be better than any state of play we've had, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah. So.
That is the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Then also the PS5 is a weird one. Like you look at like last year, what won awards and what's reviewed well. Like the PS5 actually has got a decent exclusive library, but it's things like Demon's Souls. Like I'm playing Dark Souls at the moment, but like Returnal, a road like GT7. I don't like sim races, so it's like the race. The exclusives that they have put out have like not been in genres that I'm particularly keen on. So it's like, Horizon Forbidden West, action adventure. There you go.
Did you finish Zero Dawn?
Yeah, I finished Zero Dawn. I never played the
DLC. You did DLC and you didn't plan it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
It's PlayStation's a funny one, man. Like they've got a great exclusive library. They really do. Like you can't say like Spider-Man and Wolverine are going to be incredible. Horizon's incredible. I'm sure it is. Like you know what I mean. Like I'm sure Final Fantasy 16 will be good. I'm sure that the next Naughty Dog game will be unreal. But it's like it does get to a point. I think especially when we're all in our 30s now, that it's like there's only so much time.
And
all our friends
Yeah,
are on
and
Xbox
I
as well.
remember once it was Luke from the forum of Luke loves Pokemon. His podcast, we were talking like on the chat. It's like, oh, it's great. We use this November, for instance. I can play Breath of the Wild 2, God of War Ragnarok, and Starfield if I had all three. That's it's great. Two of them obviously you would have to buy, so that's great. But if you're playing those three, you're not playing other things. And like because I'm not playing PlayStation,
Who's
I've
got
not
time to
played
play those
much
3 games at the same time? By the way,
fun.
I said, who the hell has got time to play those 3 games at
Yeah,
the
no,
same
but
time?
just use an example. If you had all
Like,
three
Jesus
consoles, you can
Christ.
play those three great exclusives, or hopefully great exclusives. But he was using the sort of argument: if you only had like the one system or two system, you play, I'm playing Voice of Cards at the moment, for instance. You or like with Game Pass, if you're playing different things and a variety of things with focused on one system more than multiple systems, if that makes sense,
Yeah,
as well.
I've always said that I wish I was Craig. Like, I wish I had the fortitude to just have one system
Mm,
because it would make my life so much easier. Like, like really, like me and Chris, for terms of games purchased, our achievement score should be 3 or 4 times what Craig's are.
mm.
Really, like if we'd just not been unfocused in our constant need to buy shiny objects to make ourselves feel better.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like I said, it's for me. It's like, oh yeah, I get to play all the great games, and I've always sort of compared it like films. I get to watch all the great films. If I wanted to read all the great books, so why wouldn't I want to play all the great games? But like I said, it was like I can play more weird indie stuff and more very stuff. Like I've got time to try Dark Souls, now because I'm not playing Horizon Forbidden West,
yeah, and
sort of
these
thing.
games are on everything now as well. Like you got like
Mm,
Xbox is getting Japanese games now.
mm,
Xbox is getting indies by the bucket load. Like
mm,
Switch has any amount of Japanese games you couldn't get on Xbox. So like the
hmm
only thing that PlayStation has is its exclusives.
Yeah,
For this, the three of us in this chat, the only thing that PlayStation
yeah,
has is its exclusive. The controller, if you like it, sure, it's better, but
mm,
its cons are different to Xbox's cons. Like the cons for the
mm,
PlayStation one is it runs out of battery every 2 hours. Like
yeah,
the Xbox cons is that it's not massively improved. It was already a great controller, but like the DualSense stuff is cool. But it's like that's not enough. I don't think that's
mm,
enough to spend £500 and have another console to support. Because I think what you're trying to say, Chris, is that if you've got it, you support it, which is what I
mm,
kind of do as well. So like if you've got the
yeah,
PS5, you feel like you have to get Plus, you have to buy games for it because you've
yeah,
bought it, it's there. Whereas if it's not there, you've got that money can go to Switch, that money can go to
yeah.
Xbox,
Exactly.
that
That's
money
what
will realistically
that's what
go
I'm
on a
saying.
Steam Deck in like 6 months because that's what you're going to do next. You've already played the only Steam Deck exclusive, and you played that on PC. But
Yeah.
It is weird. It's a weird time for Chris Bergelli, I feel, because like ever since I've known Chris, he's bought every game that comes out ever and played virtually none of them.
Mm,
But like since you've been Mr. Nintendo this year and been all on the Switch, like normally in a normal year, triangle strategy would not stand a chance. We all know that. Absolutely no way.
yeah.
Like Shin Megami Tensei 5 wouldn't stand a chance. We all know that. Whereas like it's weird now. Like I look at like Chris is probably going to play Room Factory 5. Like he's probably going to finish it. 13 Sentinels. Like any other year, that wouldn't get played. That would get bought and put on a shelf and then sold in 5 years' time. So it is strange because now I'm like he's going to play it. He's probably going to finish it. Just because you kind of more focused and
you've
Mm,
got to
you
think as
don't.
well,
yeah.
like your PS5. I mean, I've known you, Chris, for 7 years, something like that,
Mm,
7, 8 years. I have never known a PlayStation generation or a PlayStation console for you to have been this about because you had a PS5, it broke, you didn't replace it
mm,
straight away. You
mm.
waited, you've got it, you didn't even have it very long.
No.
You're just like, yeah,
Didn't we work out that you hadn't turned it on since like December or something
Boxing
like
Day. I
that?
think it was Boxing
yeah,
Day. Was the last
That's
time I
it.
turned
which
on.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I barely played mine, but I played it more than that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
that's crazy, and that's why it's a good decision to sell it now, where people
mm.
still want to buy
Yeah,
it.
and
Like,
like at the moment, like selling it now, you like I turned a profit on it, sort of thing. And it's like, how often do you do that? That's just, and it was not that. I also had to clear out of like Xbox stuff. I've pretty much gone all digital with Xbox
copy
as
me again with
well.
that.
I've kept my series. I've got the Series X just in case there is. I'm going to use it again, as an example of Elden Ring, because it's just come out and it's like everything. If I want to play Elden Ring, I wouldn't buy it digitally. I wouldn't pay 50 quid for it. I would use a shop 2 or something, get it for 42 quid, and that's why the disc drive is still handy on that and sort of thing. But I had to clear out like pretty much all my 360 games stuff is gone, or all that. Guess what I kept though on 360?
Souls games, I'm guessing.
No.
I don't know, the Metal Gear Solid collection.
Yeah.
I sold mine. I've got the PS3 version, so
I've got it on PS3 as well.
Yeah, I don't both. Don't know why I don't both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have more fun gaming now that you don't have the meat grinder of having like all the consoles and kind of having to constantly rush through everything to finish the next thing that's coming out?
Yeah. But obviously, there'd be like straight on Kirby on Friday when it comes out. Yeah.
I also think that games on Switch are more fun than games on any other console, which probably helps. Like, let's be honest, like Kirby is going to be more fun than Horizon Forbidden West. Like, in sheer fun. Like, Kirby is going to be more fun. Strikers is the game that's going to make me have to play Resident Evil. Like, I already know it. Like, there's no way I'm not buying Strikers. No way. Yeah. So
especially if you'll be back in Taunton and you have all of us just...
Especially because we'll be in Taunton, Like, so I'll have you guys, you both buy it. It's got pro clubs, for fuck's sake. My brother will probably buy it as well, because him and his kids will play it. So I'll be sat there with my copy of the GameCube version and the Wii version, which I love and have never sold.
Like, and you go on your Switch and like everyone's playing Mario Strikers.
So I'm literally now I've literally sat there with a graph like, what Resident Evil game do I want to play? It's like, well, it's gonna be 5 or 3.
Yeah, I think 3 is probably the best.
6.
Best
and make Craig play with me. Torture us both. We're playing for Resident Evil 6. Oh, that's what we want, isn't it, Craig? That's the content we need. But,
is that a 360?
That's the one that's on 360. It's also on Xbox One.
No, okay.
Yeah,
that's I guess that's the only one of the newer ones I haven't really played. So
you're in for a treat, Craig.
Yeah, I've heard it's unbelievably bad.
It's not. It's bad. It's just it's not really a Resident Evil game. It's kind of an action game. I love it.
When everyone else hates Resident Evil 5 and I love it, and I know that this is
you might actually. I'll tell you what, right? Like, come high water, right? I'll get 6 next time it's on sale. When I'm allowed to buy games, or after the 6 months thing has passed.
Yeah.
I bet you'd like it, Craig. I bet that we would have fun playing it. I bet we'd be like, this is hilarious.
The thing is, co-op makes everything better. So
it's true. Also, and this is a public service announcement. Currently, Sleeping Dogs is £3.59 on sale. Craig, you know what to do.
Ray was hyping that up.
It's a great game. Like, I'm not even like I very rarely back anything. Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition is so good. It's the best Resident Evil game, best GTA game.
My favourite thing was his stream title was just "This game needs a sequel."
Sleeping Dogs is literally like one of those games that like I bought randomly once when it came out. I saw it, didn't really like do any research. I looked at the box and I bought it, and it's one of those games that you like. This is the best discovery I've ever made. Like, it was unreal. I was just playing it like, this is amazing. Like, why is everyone not playing this? What the hell? And then I think I showed Pete, and Pete was like, this is amazing. And then Pete went and got it. Like, it's one of those, like, Sleeping Dogs is, yeah.
We're completely down a tangent now, but I can reach into my magic hat here, Dave, and I can pull out Sleeping Dogs 2 or Blur 2. You get to choose. What am I picking out?
Right, well, Sleeping Dogs 2, because honestly, Blur lives and dies by its multiplayer and its like amount of people playing it. So, and Sleeping Dogs 1 might be one of my favorite games of all time. Like, it literally.
I think it was quite high on your list, wasn't it? When we did the top 25.
Yeah.
You'd like it, Craig. That's what annoys me. It's like, it's not even like I'm recommending a game you wouldn't like. It's like, I know you'd like it. You'd play it, but this is great. I haven't played a GTA game, and this one's fun. It's small. You got Kung Fu. The combat's the same as Mad Max.
Yeah, it did look good when I was watching Ray play it.
Just play it. It's £3.59. At least just put it in your bloody your account in case for a rainy day, Craig. Just do it. Do it for me. Do it for Daddy.
I should buy it this year, and then it could just be on my backlog challenge every year.
I'll
get 4 out of 5 every year and just not play that one. And just keep putting it in. It can be mine near Automata.
Buy it now for £3.50, and then when you lose Fantasy League, that's your forfeit. Anyway, right, let's end the podcast before we tangent any longer. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We will see you next week with a slightly less clickbaity headline, I'm sure. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.